guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time it is going to be on Top Gun Maverick. Now, Top Gun Maverick takes place 30 years after the events of the original Top Gun that came out in 1986. Well, over 36 years. Has it been 36 years? Yeah, 36 years since the last movie. And Maverick returns to Top Gun, which is the place where he truly belongs, as of course the big aviator of the first movie. When he finds himself training a detachment of Top Gun graduates for a specialized mission of the likes of which no pilot has ever seen, Maverick encounters Lieutenant Bradley Bradshaw, played by Miles Teller, the son of Maverick's late friend and radar intercept officer, Lieutenant Nick Bradshaw, aka Goose, from the original film. Facing an uncertain future and confronting the ghosts of his past, Maverick is drawn into a confrontation with his own deepest fears, culminating in a mission that demands the ultimate sacrifice from those who will be chosen to fly it. Now, I have seen the original Top Gun. It's been a really long time since I have watched the original for the first time, but I rewatched it on Sunday. Really enjoyed it a bit more. It is a very cheesy film, but hey, that's what makes it such a fun movie. I mean, this defies the 1980s, and in fact, it became the highest grossing film of 1986. So the fact that it took them this long to develop a sequel is quite shocking, because you think a sequel would have came out sooner, much sooner in fact, but no, it came out 36 years later, which seems like it could be very hard because Top Gun isn't the most acclaimed film. I mean, it got mixed reviews from critics, but audiences, it became a huge classic throughout the many years, and people consider it to be one of Tom Cruise's greatest roles of all time. And I can say with this film, it surpasses its predecessor in almost every single way. Top Gun Maverick is what a sequel needs to be. This is the type of sequel that people need to take more inspiration from, because if you really enjoyed the first movie, if you loved the first movie, then I think you are going to absolutely adore this one. I adore this one. This film was more than worth all the delays, okay? It's been delayed, of course, since 2020 because of you know what, and it was supposed to come out last year when things were starting to open back up, but I think there was a big reason why this movie was delayed so many times, because they knew it was going to be a big success. And I have a feeling it will be, because I saw an early screening of this and it was packed. Like, oh my god, I had to sit right next to a couple of strangers that I do not know of. And there was a lot of people coming into the screening wearing Navy outfits, Navy suits, and stuff like that. They might have actually been in the Navy, so seeing them, being able to see this movie very early is truly a blessing for them. And there's a lot that this movie does have to offer. What I love the most about this movie is that it's not trying to recreate a brand new franchise of the brand new Top Gun movie franchise where there's going to be another movie next year or stuff like that. It's not trying to do that. It's trying to be a movie that isn't trying to take from its predecessor and add in new story elements, because it's mainly focusing on one story. And it is very strong here. It brings in old characters and returning characters in this film. And the new characters, Miles Teller in particular, is also great in this movie. I think his chemistry with Tom Cruise is very strong. They're not really on camera that much, as it mostly focuses on Tom Cruise. I mean, that's what you expect. And there are a lot of references to the original film. Like, even the opening pays homage to the original. And there are some times where kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say remake some of the film's original things. I think brings back some of the stuff that was in the original movie. And don't worry, this movie isn't completely going for nostalgia. Like, this is not a sequel that's just throwing nostalgia on your face. Like, hey, remember this from the movie? No, it's actually trying to be a film. And I think it's done in the best possible way. And if you expect a lot of plane flying sequences and intense action, you're not going to be disappointed because this has more crazy plane action sequences than the first movie had. I mean, it's longer than the original, so that's something to expect, okay? And the action too, there is more action. It makes the action in the first movie look like nothing. And the fact that this movie was shot in real planes too, like they actually went into the sky. Probably not in all the scenes. I mean, they did use some CGI with the explosions, but with the planes, like it's crazy how they were actually able to shoot it. Like when Maverick's in the cockpit and the plane is just flying around, it just looks so cool. And I saw this in IMAX too. And the IMAX experience was truly effective. It truly made me feel like I was in the actual plane, flying with Tom Cruise in this actual airship. And this movie can get very suspenseful with the plane sequences. And it has an amazing final act that lasts quite a bit long, but it never bored me. This is a movie that never feels boring, both in and outside of the cockpit. And character interactions too, like they're very strong here. It has a lot of heart too, just like the first movie had. And this one, I think they crank it up to 11 right here. Like there are some very powerful moments, and I feel like it's gonna leave people tearing up, and I felt like it was very strong. Its heart is definitely in the right place. Now the original film did have some cheesy dialogue, but some very memorable one-liners. Like, of course, I feel the need for speed. This movie doesn't have any necessarily memorable one-liners like the first movie did. But and some of the dialogue is a bit cheesy and kind of, I mean, some of it, just not all of it, because this movie I feel like is far more serious than the first movie. But I mean, there were a lot of serious moments in the first film, but this one I think goes for a much more serious route, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because this movie isn't depressing. There are some depressing moments, but it's not a flat out like tearjerker. Like it keeps viewers entertained with its action, its flying sequences, and of course with its powerful storytelling. And I do think this is one of Tom Cruise's best films, and it's one of the best sequels I've seen in recent memory. It's just like with Blade Runner 2049 and Mad Max Fury Road. Those are two sequels that aren't trying to just resurrect a franchise. It's not going for any more sequels or anything like that. I mean, there might be another Mad Max or Blade Runner movie in the future, but those two films I feel like work because they're not trying to set up anything new. This movie isn't trying to set up anything new. There aren't going to be times where people might have theories of what's going to happen in the next one. And if there is a next one, I don't know. It might take them a really long time. If they do, they could probably take their time just like they did with this one. You could tell that the director and everybody uh, was trying to take their time. And the music, too, the music was outstanding. Hans Zimmer and Lady Gaga were both in charge of the music. There was another guy whose name I forgot, but and Lady Gaga's song "Hold My Hand" it was absolutely outstanding, and I felt like it fit the movie perfectly, and does have some of the original songs of the movie, so it just makes the soundtrack even more memorable than probably in the first movie. And the first movie's soundtrack kicked ass. And I'm just gushing about this movie so much, and it's not even fully out yet, so I need to try my best not to spoil. And yeah, but in the end, guys, Top Gun Maverick is not just a sequel. It redefines what makes a summer blockbuster fun and entertaining. It's heartfelt, it's powerful, it's very tense, it's beautiful, it's outstanding to look at. This is a sequel that I never felt we fully needed, but I'm glad we did. And it's not just going for nostalgia or anything like that. While there are some nostalgic moments, it's still doing new things. And its action is more tense, its music is more strong, and I just feel like it does things a lot better than the original. And the original film I thought was a lot of fun, but this right here, it might be longer, but I thought it was much more entertaining and had a lot more going for it. The first film can be respected as a fun classic 80s film, and this one can be respected as a sequel that honors that original film while surpassing it in almost every single way. Definitely go out and see this movie, and I guess in the end, this movie truly does deserve one big salute from me. Other than some of the cheesy dialogue that I didn't feel fully worked and not having as many memorable one-liners as the first film, it just brings in some of those one-liners back just for a little bit of nostalgia. But like I said, this isn't flat out fully going for nostalgia. It's going for its own thing, and I think it's fully worth your time and your money. So yeah, I'm happy, so happy that this movie was good. Hopefully, the Bob's Burgers movie will be too. I have a feeling it will be as well. I'll be seeing that Thursday. So yeah, but anyways, definitely check this movie out when it comes out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.